A couple of things today with injury. Okay, so we have Pringle. Pringle's going to have no time to return, but his is going to be a little bit longer. He has a quad. Okay, so that's one of the things we want to talk about there. And then you guys saw that Gordon and Velas were out there. That's just day to day. They're with the trainers. They'll be back when they can, and that's day to day. A couple guys had vet days, where we ramped the reps down a little bit today with Cody and Riley. Those guys had a couple of things there where they just did individual. And then Quinn. Quinn wasn't there. That was for an excused absence for him, and it wasn't nothing more than that. Okay, and he can tell you what it was if he wants, but it's nothing there. Okay, and that's really all I have for that. Other than that, yesterday was a good day. A lot of situations. As you guys know, they talked about the practice yesterday like it was long and all that. I didn't see it that way. I thought it was a good practice, good solid practice, and guys were pushing through. And it was really a carbon copy. Today's practice was the same, type of situations. You saw that we did split the field and do some scout work, which was good to get different looks that we're going to face during the course of the year. And you have to do that because in pro football you have different front variations, different protection rules, and those types of things. And then on defense, you face different quarterbacks during the course of the year that sometimes will do the quarterback runs than normal. And you really have to have your rules down for that during the course of the year. So that's why we did that. And then we did 2 more play-it periods. We put the ball down at the 35. We put it at the 50. Guys operated, and you can see the operations getting better. We're having less pre-snap penalties, less penalties overall, which is good, more clean football. And I really think we're doing a good job of running the ball right now. I told the team that yesterday. The run blocking is really starting to pick up, really starting to improve. You can see that unit coming together in the run blocking for sure. The runners, I think, have done a great job for us, for our football team, getting the ball vertical and taking it down the field. That really helps the defense a lot, too, because we have to cup the ball. We got to have a force pursue apex player. And what that does, it creates big plays for offense and eliminates big plays on defense, and that's a winning formula. You take the ball away or protect the ball, and you have explosive plays on offense and defense, or you limit those. That's an explosive way to go. So we really enjoyed that part of it, and those are the groups that I kind of highlighted there that have done a good job the last couple of days. So I'll open up to questions from there.
And is Byron Pringle potentially into the season? Is that a concern at this point?
No. I don't think so. I think, it's longer than day to day, so that's all I can say. But no really timetable to return. But we're hopeful that it's a good situation for us.
We saw N'Keal Harry come off the field unable to put weight.
Yeah.
What do you know about him at this point?
Yeah, I don't know much. I just saw him come down. I saw the play, and I don't really know much from there. We're obviously going to do the evaluation, and then once I get that, we can get it back to you. And if it's a longer situation, we'll let you know what it is. If it's day by day, we'll say that too.
Do you have concerns about the depth at receiver we just talked about? 2 guys who were, in your regular rotation who might not be able to practice for a long time?
Yeah, you're always concerned about that. During camp, when you have, this 90-man roster and guys go down with soft tissue stuff or whatever it might be, you put workloads on other guys, and then those other guys have opportunity to have more reps, so you have to be mindful of that. And we were, we're mindful of that. We did shorten it just a titch today, had a couple more water breaks in there just to get their legs back and then get them going again. But the way the schedule's set up, we have a nice schedule where they got a lot of time between every practice to get the information back, but also get their bodies ready. So we're it's a good schedule.
You've been upfront about the regular rotation of players at various positions. We understand that, but is there a kind of a rough time in camp, whether it's week 3 or week 4, where you have to kind of start to make some decisions to get maximum benefit out of these practices to be ready for a real game?
Yeah, you do. It's a balance. It's a balance. It's like even when you're playing the preseason games, I know the big question is how many plays are you going to play in that first one, how many in the second one, how many in the third one, and preparing for preparing for the game. I think that you really have to be mindful of the reps, of who's getting what, who's matched up against who, and then really what the competition looks like, because this is open competition. We have a lot of turnover. I think we have the most turnover NFL roster, I believe. So we got a lot of new players, free agency in the draft, and so everything's open.
So do you have a rough guess at what point in camp that is, after the second exhibition game, before the second, wherever, I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, we don't know. When it comes to light, it'll be there. It'll be there. You're like, yep, this guy's making a move. He's made the move. He's been consistent. This guy's clearly the starter now, and let it play out. If you let that happen, then it just happens naturally, and let it play out. You have situations like that. I think that a lot of times coaches force the issue a little bit and anoint certain players. Hey, he's the starter here, and he's the starter here, and then the other guy kind of just says, "Oh, I'm just a backup." We don't want to put ceilings on guys. We want to be able to compete. Leave it open. Let them compete. And a guy might rise up, at the end to take the job. So we got to let that happen.
So it's going to come in different positions at different times.
Yeah, safe to say that for sure.
Matt, this is the first time we've actually laid eyes on Tevin in 10 days. What is your timeline for him actually participating in the competitive parts of practice?
Yeah, I would say that we're ramping him up. So today he did individual, and tomorrow we'll ramp it up. We'll talk with Dre, our trainer, and we'll work it from there. And typically the way the model works is that a guy's coming off of whatever the issue is, he now goes into individual, and then we just ramp him up. We ramp his reps up. Then it's into a full period, then 2 periods, then 3 periods, and kind of work him from there.
What's your message to him as he comes back about the urgency and everything that he needs to
Yeah,
do?
really same as everybody. Hey, go out there and compete. Everything's open. Dive in. He's like we said. He's been great in meetings. He's been very attentive. He's been paying attention. He's been back up in the walkthroughs. Looking at the plays and understanding his role and the plays. So he's been good.
Matt, your working relationship with Ryan Poles was kind of a whirlwind at the beginning, obviously, the way you were hired. How has it developed now that we're into the season a little bit? And is there anything, does it match up to what your vision was as you saw it developing, especially with you being a first-time head coach, him being a first-time?
Yeah, I think it's been really good. The communication's been great. If there's ever any issue, I walk over there. He walks over to my office. The doors are always open. We're in constant communication. And really, what's over time, this 6 months or 7 months now, has proven to me is that we are in line with what we want the team to look like. And you can see that. We want a athletic, fast, tough football team. And that's what we're striving to get every day.
Is it tricky at all establishing, how hands-on he wants to be during practice and you do? I don't know how it was with Ballard and Indy, but that's probably something, a comparison. But what is Ryan's role, especially in being a younger GM? I imagine he wants to,
Yeah,
be more hands-on.
he is hands-on. He's in the building, working with the players, talking to the guys, encouraging them throughout the day. And then in practice, he's watching practice, observing practice. He might come in the middle there sometimes, and and I'll be talking to him about what plays we're running and stuff like that. But he's been great. He's been great. He's a hands-on GM, and we're working hand to hand to make this team better.
You went out of your way a couple minutes ago to say that yesterday's practice, that all these players that we talked to said was the most grueling of their, Komet says the most grueling he'd ever been through.
Yeah.
But it was not a big deal. What message are you trying to send by saying that? Because it seems clear that your practices are pretty intense.
Well, I would just say this, that if you want to be a good football team, you have to have mental and physical stamina. And to build that callus, to build that stamina, you have to go through hard. And you can't do it by going through soft. So that's just what our practices do. So the tempo which we practice, how we execute with speed, and what we're asking, and the standards of what we're asking our players to do, that builds that mental and physical stamina.
Do you think some of these guys have gotten complacent in the last couple of years? That, this hard, or maybe it shouldn't be?
No, I think you have to do it every year. So every year you come in, you have to build that mental and physical stamina. You do. You got to reset it. You got to reset it, and it's got to be, because your team changes every year. You get new free agents, you get new rookies. I mean, it's a big flip over, every year. Not as big as this year, but it will be new every single year. We got to reteach it and redo it.
Dominique Robinson, kind of raw at the position when you guys drafted him.
Yeah.
How have you seen him develop, and when you get to preseason, and I'm sure he'll play a bunch, what do you want to see from a guy like that? He's got the speed
part down.
Yeah, you want to see good technique. So when you get a raw guy like Dominique, he is a raw athlete, that's played the position, for a good time, but now he's playing it in the NFL. So you want to see good technique. And what I mean by that, you want to see him play the run with good technique, good length, the ability to shed blocks. And then when he gets to the pass, rushing the passer, you want to see good technique there too. And that takes time, because a lot of times you work these techniques in practice, and then you get on stage, and guess what? You revert back sometimes. So we're just looking for that consistency that he's had in practice to continue that in a game, because rookies do that all the time. They really good in practice, and all of a sudden they get the lights on, and they'll revert back a little bit. And then you got to be, coaching them on that. They understand that, hey, don't let that happen. Stay with your technique, stay with your process, one play at a time, flip the script, and then just keep playing one play.
Coach, you've been clear with us about your injury policy in terms of how you're going to report it this time of year. You've also been able to say things like it's a quad, it's a hamstring. Why not with Tevin?
Because it was a day by day. So all the day by days, I'm just saying it's day by day. So if it's a longer deal, then I would say, hey, he's out a longer time, and it is a quad. It's a hand, whatever that is. The guys that I've disclosed that on. So that's just my policy.
So we can be on the same page going forward in fairness. What would qualify for a long time? I mean, it's been a week and a half.
Yeah.
It's 10 days, 15 days.
Yeah, I'm not going to put a timetable on that. So, then you'll come back at me and say, oh, it was 28 days. I got you. So.
Matt, I'm sorry if I missed this, but did you, Braxton Jones, do you have any clarity on?
Yeah, Braxton was he's going to be day by day. We think he's going to be good. Braxton's going to be fine. Yep.
Matt, you talked about,
Players having to step up and competition at the receiver and other positions.
Yep.
In a situation like today where N'Keal Harry is gone, in addition to Byron Pringle being gone, having a strong day from someone like Tajay Sharp, made a few tough catches today. How does it make you feel as a coach when you have two players down, but other players are stepping up in a big way like that?
No, that's a good observation, and I agree with you. When you have a guy step up like that, that's awesome. That's what it's all about, right? Guys go down, guys step up, and Tajay did a nice job. We're excited to have him back. He's back now, and he looks good in the drills, and like you said, made a couple nice plays.
Matt, with Vildor and Gordon out the last couple days, having not practiced since Wednesday, what have you learned about some of your cornerback depth at nickel and at outside?
Yeah, I'm just really looking at a lot of those young guys, and it's too bad those guys are out, and hopefully we'll get them back soon. We will. But I'm really looking at just the drill work, the fundamental part of it, because you'll see me sometimes on the offensive field, and I'll look over to the defensive side, and I want to make sure they're finishing the right way. So in their tackling, when they intercept the ball, how they finish. And they did a nice job today. They did a nice couple of drills. I saw them doing some breakout pass drills, and I love those drills that we do. And that means something, because you got to be a finisher at defensive back, and the group did a nice job today.
Different twist on Joe's question. When you're down 4 receivers, when your offensive line is far from home, what do you look from Justin in practice like this
As a
steadier, as a stabilizer?
stabilizer, what are you looking for from him?
No, I thought he was good today. Operated the offense good. The ball was out on time. Justin's growing every single day. What's great about a second-year quarterback is that in learning a new offense, you watch him grow, and you see him mature in the position, and man, that's good to see, and the answers he has in the meetings, with understanding what he's doing, when he's delivering the ball, and that's exciting. It really is.
Is it on a curve on a day like today when he's missing so many of the pieces that you hope will be with him in the regular season?
It's a little bit harder to assess because the pieces aren't there, but he did a good job, modifying it and adjusting.
When you're installing a new defense, is there a point where your guys go from 11 guys learning their own new individual jobs to 11 guys playing together? Have you reached that point? Do you see that happening? At what point does it happen? How has that developed?
Yeah, there's always chemistry in a unit, so you're saying because right now there's so many guys rotating in there, it doesn't look like a starting lineup yet. You have this guy over here that's, might be a role player, and then there's a starter and then a role player. And not to say we have the answers for that yet, we don't. But once we solidify who the first liners are and then who the role players are, it's a lot easier to see the chemistry and to see the continuity of each unit, offense, defense, kicking, on the punt team, whatever that might be. So we're still a work in progress. We're a long way away from that.
How similar is this to the introduction of the defense in the first year in Indy, when you made a big jump with a similar?
Yeah, it's similar. It's the same thing we did when Rod came to us in Dallas. We did the same thing there in Dallas. We did it in Indianapolis, and now we're doing it here with the Bears. So it takes time, and it's a process, but we enjoy it. It's a fun process to go through.